Pemaquid Communications, innovative, accessible web design and development from offices in Portland, Maine. On the web at pemaquid.com.
Welcome. This is our Afterthoughts segment where we keep our guests around for some extended conversation and hopefully some more candid discussion of the issues. With us today we have Representative Chellie Pingree. Thank you for being here and sticking around. Let's talk about the third rail real quickly here, Medicare and Social Security. Who's going to take the lead on this, and how do you see that happening? I mean, something has to happen. We all know that. And something will happen. We all know that too. Is it just politics in the way?
Probably.
What do you think the answer is?
You know, I actually think that there are real solutions out there. I mean, you take Social Security, for instance. The trust fund's not in as much trouble as people say. But even so,
right.
In order to increase money in the system, we could actually lift the cap. Right now, you only pay Social Security, I think, on say up to just over $100,000 worth of your wages. Well, let's say we raise it to 180. We ask people who are making a lot more money to pay their share. This cap was designed a long time ago when people made less money. Well, that would eliminate most of the problem. And in my opinion, is a far better solution than those members who say, let's raise the age till 70. I mean, I know a lot of people in Maine who work too hard you know, to survive until 70 in the workplace. And frankly, the longer you keep people in the workplace, the less jobs there are for young people coming in. So to me, it's a simple solution, but it's a, you know, that's an example of a big political fight where people just don't see it in the same way. And, you know, that's why the president put together a commission. We didn't all agree with all of the recommendations, but we're going to go back to that debate. The problem is, you know, we can't even pass a budget for more than 2 weeks, so we got to fix one thing at a time.
Right. Well, and I think that's part of the, obviously there's political hay being made by the fact that, wait a minute, we got this commission recommendations, why aren't you doing that? You know, and I think the answer is, yeah, we've got to at least solve where we are right now, then we can look at that. But okay. I also wanted to ask about, you know, one of the things we talk about here a lot on this show is businesses. We say businesses need three things to succeed. They need access to capital, access to markets, and access to affordable and skilled workforce. Let's talk about the last one, because capital and markets, that's a whole other thing. But the workforce piece, can we really invest at the state level, but also at the federal level, in workforce development, education, especially in post-secondary and community college and technical training, and still cut the deficit and manage our budget at the same time?
Oh, I absolutely think so. I mean, again, remember...
Is there a political will to do that, too?
Well, I do think we have to continually keep this part of the debate and conversation out there. I mean, just to kind of quickly review, the big problems with the deficit are, in my opinion, you know, the Bush tax cuts are actually part of it. The cost of this war, we're in 2 wars, cost us $7 billion a month in the overall cost of going to war. The overall downturn in the economy. You know, as the economy improves, it starts to fill back into the deficit. I mean, we have significant problems out there. But the idea of paying for them with reducing our investment in education while we watch all these countries around the world move forward in technology, have a better educated workforce, there's no logic in it. For instance, the Pell Grants are scheduled to be cut. Now, a Pell Grant, over half of the students going to the community colleges in Maine pay for their tuition with Pell Grants. In fact, you can pay for most of your costs of going to school through a Pell Grant. That's a federal investment. Well, we know in the state of Maine, you know, how many times have we said that we have the highest level of kids who graduate from high school and one of the lowest levels of kids who go into secondary education. And we've got businesses that want to move into Maine. I mean, I just met with a precision machining company. We
have businesses that want to expand but can't get...
Exactly. I was talking to a company...
They're worried about the skilled workforce.
Based in Maine. I'm on the Armed Services Committee, so I meet with a lot of companies that have defense contracts. Well, his biggest issue is a skilled workforce and enough of a workforce. And they don't have to be highly trained. They don't have to come out of MIT graduate school, but they need to, you know, they need to be from the state of Maine. So we have a jobs crisis, yet we're not always willing to invest in making sure we train our workforce to be there. And that's a common problem.
One more question. I'll ask one more.
Sure.
I've got to pick which one I want. I'll skip that one. I want to ask you just about the general tone in Washington, I guess, because I know people are interested in that too. Clearly, there's been a change with the midterm elections, and change at the state level too. And it seems so partisan, hyper-partisan, I think is the word I would use for it. And everybody talks about the civility thing. I'm not so worried about civility. I'm just worried about things getting done. Are we stuck in gridlock, or will things get done in the next 2 years before the next, before 2012?
You know, it's a really good question. I mean, we are stuck in gridlock right now. We're passing a budget 2 weeks at a time. We might go back in this week and pass it 3 weeks at a time. And we have to come to some agreement about where we're going to make significant cuts and where we're really going to continue our investments. I will say the great thing about being from the state of Maine, we have a delegation of 4 members, 2 Republicans, 2 Democrats, the House and the Senate, and both the delegation and our staffs work together remarkably well. I mean, we keep focused on the state of Maine, whether it's redeveloping the Brunswick Naval Air Station or the bridge in Kittery or, you know, Bath Iron Works or, you know, a whole variety of issues about our citizens, our state, you know, and the welfare of people who live here. And I think that's a great example, and I think even though people turn on their TV and they see all the, you know, the pundits and sort of the bickering that's up there at this level, they need to remember they come from a state where people work together exceptionally well and where our focus is really how do we make life better for the people who live here, and I think we do our best to make that happen.
Okay, okay, good. We're going to stop it right there. I appreciate you taking the time, and we'll have you back in.
Absolutely.
Great, thanks a lot.
Well, thank you.
Okay,
Thanks for doing the show.
Thank you all.